They were not lazy, to convey the message. And this is what one of the major perhaps difference between us and them. They they rely completely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They don't care about the result, the outcome. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them the best result and the best outcome. We try by our logical, ways, try to study this, try to analyze the other thing, and looking for the result and the outcome. And in many occasions, I'm sorry to say, our outcome is not that good. Our result is not that good. And this tells us that whenever we are commanded, just do it blindly. Okay? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to grant you with the best result, which in many occasions is going to be way higher than your expectation. So move to another hadith, inshallah. Hadith number 17. عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: مثل الذي يتعلم العلم ثم لا يحدث به كمثل الذي يكنز الكنز ثم لا ينفق به. رواه الطبراني في الأوسط وفي إسناده ابن لاهيعة.
Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu reports that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "The likeness of the one who learns knowledge and then does not narrate it is the likeness of the one who hoards a treasure and then does not spend from it."
This is a very important point, that knowledge, especially Islamic knowledge, is not an aim or target by itself. It's a maneuver or tool to make us closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this has been neglected or perhaps forgotten by many of us. I think I told you this story before, that a person, from very far land, from Al-Basra, he heard about Al-Hasan al-Basri, famous scholar of the successors, he heard about him, and he was eager to meet with this person. And he traveled in these old days, I don't know for how many days or months, to reach Hasan al-Basri, which was too difficult, and he sacrificed a lot to reach Hasan al-Basri. And he reached Al-Basra, and he attended the class or the dars of Hasan al-Basri. After the dars, he introduced himself to Hasan al-Basri. I am so and so. I haven't slept for many nights, to come to you. Just to tell how difficult and how hard was in him, to seek this piece of knowledge from Hasan al-Basri. And what was the answer of Hasan al-Basri? He said, "Have you heard or have you listened to the dars?" He said, "Yes." He said, "From now and on you shouldn't sleep." Okay? And he raised to him at the point of applying, adopting his knowledge to all aspects of his life. Okay? And this tells us that knowledge per se, or especially Islamic knowledge, is not as a theory. You may have in math, 1 plus 1, 1 multiply, those may be absurd. But most of the Islamic knowledge is to be practiced. And we have Ulum al-Quran, we have one of the major mountain that we have is the Holy Quran. One day, as we have been told, this Holy Quran is going to return back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, complaining of us. Said, "Oh Allah, they recite me, but no one practice anything. They recite me, no one understand." You see, and here, what was the major purpose behind the revelation. The major purpose of it, to improve ourselves, to try to apply, try to adapt the Quran. As we said in previous lecture, the Prophet ﷺ and some of his companions, they were described as mushaf yamshi ala wajh al-ard. Mushaf walking. Okay, mushaf, yani this holy book, walks as if he's a person walking. Why? Because these people, they used to have all aspects of this life, all activities, all organs, everything, subjected, to the Holy Quran, and they are going to work accordingly. And here in this example, the Prophet ﷺ gave us something from this dunya and something from the hereafter. In this dunya, nowadays, alhamdulillah, we have a lot of opening, in all aspects, of our modern living, eating, drinking, sleeping, traveling, and you name it, If you have someone who is rich, and you are not that rich, you look at him as crazy person. This rich man is too stingy. He doesn't spend any money, He doesn't know the meaning of this life. He doesn't enjoy his life. This in indirect way, what you are trying to tell me. Money is not meant by itself. It's not a purpose by itself. It's to be spent, This is the joy of it, to be spent. For those people of dunya in this life, for those people of akhirah, to have a transfer of it, from this dunya to the hereafter, through the poor person or the needy person, or you name it. You see this point? Here, according to the people of dunya and people of akhirah, kafir and Muslim, believer and unbeliever, and you name it, money is not meant by itself. It's meant for whatever you have the ability to do with it. Nowadays, at least in the view of many of us, that anyone who has money, he may do whatever he wants. Why? Why he may do whatever he wants to do? I'm sorry to say, because most of people, they are worshippers of money. And you saw that program, anything for money, they make him do what is almost impossible to be done, by a small amount of money. To get naked or to do lousy work or to stop in the street and shouting and whatever. I had seen a lot, of those programs, how they make the most respected person, do whatever he wants to do. By this, what this tell us? Firstly, we've lost our principles. No principle. And perhaps most of people, I don't know, but I expect that most of people, Muslims and non-Muslims, politician, physician, you name it, in any field, they lost their principle. The only principle they have to collect money. And this is why it's problem. One day, they have a rumor, during the time of the successors, that the Masih al-Dajjal did show up. And one of those scholars, he said, it's impossible. They said, why? He said, in our time, if al-Masih al-Dajjal show up, it's going to be thrown by the dirt, from the children, No one is going to accept him or believe him. Why? Because people, they are of no interest of this dunya, What you are going to offer to us? You are a liar. Go. Okay? But Al-Masih, this was his statement. Al-Masih al-Dajjal is going to show up among people who their intelligence and their mind and their thoughts has been gone away. Has been far of them. What does he mean by this? Because they sold all of their principles for a benefit that he may get in this dunya. Not necessary to have it in cash, or money or whatever. Any benefit. To be famous, to be hired, to be accepted, by certain people to do this or that, Not all of you, inshallah, all of you here in this hall, you'll be protected, but this is our major problem nowadays, okay? Because even the religious people, they sell their principles, for this matter. Those who are mufti, sometimes they may sell some fatwa, according to this, I have heard, I don't know how accurate this, you heard about it, the American Furqan or Quran. And a person was offered $2 million, to do it. And when you look at Muslims nowadays, many of them, they are ready. They are ready to do this. So in such setting of people lost their principles, and put the dunya at the top, they have significant room of acceptance of Masih al-Dajjal. Why? Because this is an ugly person in shape. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put in his strength, a lot of money, a lot of ability, of making the rain come, resurrect some diseased people, do this, do that. Whoever follow him is going to have a very high, sophisticated, luxurious life. The one who rejected him, they are going to have toughness, in their life, and shortage of food, and you name it. So here, when the Masih al-Dajjal is going to show up, many I'm sorry to say, of us, of the Muslims, they are ready to follow. They are ready, completely ready to follow him. Why? Because they lost their principles, and they are going to sell whatever needed to be sold, to have fun, or to have some enjoyable days, with this Masih al-Dajjal. Enjoyable, yes. Even the Prophet ﷺ put it in this simple way. He said, if he asks you to go to his paradise, don't go, because it is hellfire. And if he asks you to go to hellfire, go, because it's paradise. And he put it in this simple way, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Why? Because he's going to give you something that many of those thoughts, and minds, they are going to accept, admire, seek for. Which is the reality of it is completely the opposite. And all of them, these people, they are going to run away from the other portion of it, which is completely the happiness, the real living, in this life, being human. So what I'm trying to say, people of dunya, if they are smart enough, they should have the money as a tool, not as an aim or target. This is not the case in many occasions. People of Akhirah, in the same pattern. Now you see, it is, I cannot deny, it is difficult. The way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is difficult by one way or another. It is easy when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it easy, okay? But I'm sorry to say, most of its difficulty, it comes from our side. Not from what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala designated for us, I'm not speaking here about qadar, about designation, the old designation. No, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it available for us, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it easy for us, and how we tend to make it too difficult on us. And so I give you an example about it. Many of those questions come to me. They put the pattern of contradiction. I am good practitioner, but I cannot serve my family. You see, this is one way of making difficult on us. We make it difficult on us, not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you are smart enough, you are not going to look at them as contradiction. You are going to look at them, go with each other, parallel to each other, okay? And this is the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala designated it for those people who are, inshallah, people of heaven. Okay. So here, the major tool in this life that is going to be considered as target is money. The major tool of the hereafter which is going to be considered again by some as a target, is knowledge. Knowledge is not meant for itself. Knowledge is not designated for itself, it's designated for practice. Okay? Practice, it starts from your side. After it, it should be spread all over. Okay? Like some people, when they are given money, if this person is given a prize, of 1 million pound, no one around him is going to feel any difference, except that this person is going to be more up, has higher ego, okay, and is more tough, and really bad person, for his family. Whereas the other one, when he is given this million, all poor, in his family, in his community, they are going to have better life. This is what was mentioned to see how great, how genius is Sayyidina Umar al-Khattab. One day they told him, how come when you want to give someone money, you give Quraysh, you don't give the other people? What did he answer? He said, when I give Quraysh, I feel and see the money goes around everything. When I give it to someone else not from Quraysh, I don't see any trace of it. You see? And another way, when he gives this to Qurayshi person, he's going to establish some factories, hire a lot of people, and the money is going to move. Yani this is really one of the recent economical theory that you have, and he's going to find the money, move everything, in his community or in his country, Sayyidina Umar al-Khattab. Whereas when he give this money to someone else, he's not going to find any change at all, happen. So, in the same pattern about money, you have the same thing about knowledge. We should see the trace of it. We should look at the surrounding. I don't care about you. If I travel, from Syria to teach 10 or 20 person, it's wastage of time. No. What I would like to see, that those 20, when they go back to their family, the number is going to be 200 or more, and then multiply to 2,000, and you name it. That's what I look forward, okay? And this is the practicality about it, okay? And this is when Sayyidina Abu Hurairah narrated of the Prophet ﷺ that he put it in the form of money, like example of money. We should take it from this point, from this lowest point, that this is not going to penetrate me any way when I feel it as an aim or target to me. Okay? If I'm called Shaykh, Mufti, Sa'ab, whatever, and all the surrounding around me, they don't know how to pray. They don't know how to recite Quran. Okay, what's the benefit of it? If I'm a good reciter of Quran, and I spend the whole night, sleeping, what Quran is this? What's the benefit of this Quran? As once someone said, we have another copy of Quran. We used to have in the mosque, 100 copy. They became now 101. One in flesh, and blood, That's it, because this person did not get any benefit. And here, this is very smart example, given to us, by the Prophet ﷺ to tell us about the noble principle about behind it, the noble target that we should look at it, Don't look at the names. You may have ordinary person, perhaps the least knowledgeable among you. He have few pieces, of accurate knowledge. But when you go back, if I have still enough time to come back, let's say after 1 year, and I find the trace of this person, going for 20 or 30 or 50 or you name it, people, he taught them, all these matters. For me, this is a great person, even though he's not mufti, he's not sa'ab, he's not anything, okay? But I don't care a lot, about the other one. And don't imagine for one moment that this is my task only. This is the task of all of you. Okay? Because I see in the faces that you love the Prophet ﷺ. And the Prophet ﷺ, as I said frequently, he sacrificed a lot, Sacrificed a lot, of his time, of his fame, of his family, of you name it, what we know and what we don't know. And what we don't know is much, much, much more than that what we know. To make you enjoying your time, I see that you enjoy your time, praying to Allah, making dua, making durood, reciting Quran, doing this and that. And it's not going to be possible, without that sacrifice of the Prophet ﷺ, sacrifice of the companion, sacrifice of the others, successors who came later on, and the whole chain, from the Prophet ﷺ to our time. We are, to have this great book, of Hadith, to have the Holy Quran, we have a lot of copies of the Ulum al-Quran translated. You see, all those matters, what make them available to us, their sacrifice. Okay? And now, you and me, we are responsible, Now it's our time, our turn. And don't think for one moment that Allah in need of you. No. The Prophet in need of you. No. Islam in need of you. Quran. No. None of these holy names, they are in need of you. You are in need of you, or in need of the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Because we have been told by the Prophet, we are guaranteed by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that this is going to go and take place all the time, non-stop, from the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam till the hereafter. And we have authentic, and according to some opinion, it's tawatur hadith about this matter. We have the full guarantee of it. So what's the point here? The point, I should search for my position. Where do I stand? Okay? Am I one of this holy chain mentioned by the Prophet ﷺ, which is going to last from his time ﷺ to the hereafter? Or I am? I don't know how to describe. I'm vanished, or lousy, or useless, or hypocrite, rebel. I don't know how to describe such a person. And he really is going to be much worse. You know why? Because he's knowledgeable, and not beneficial for himself or for another. And in some transmission that we have, I don't know how strong, but we have authentic hadith which support it, The first one, to be put in hellfire, or to have the hellfire, go on, and get strength, the one who learned, or is knowledgeable, and he did not practice his knowledge. They said in Arabic, وَعَالِمٌ بِعِلْمِهِ لَمْ يَعْمَلًا مُعَذَّبٌ مِنْ قَبْلِ عُبَّادِ الْوَثَنِ. The knowledgeable person, when he did not practice his knowledge, is going to be punished, in hellfire before those worshippers, of the idols. Again, this is tool, yes, but this is, in my view, the finest, the best, the most honorable tool ever. Why? Because we as Muslims, that's what I feel, we hold in our hands, the treasure to make all humanity happy. This may not happen, but we should sacrifice, we should try to convey the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the result, the outcome is not in our hands. And again, You see how great this example given, by the Prophet ﷺ when he give this comparison. One for this life, how things, made, available, for anyone, and how things in the hereafter made available for anyone. In this dunya, people, they go by money. In the hereafter, they go by knowledge. But in both aspects, if it's not used well in the way it has been designated to be used by, it's not going to be beneficial, and in many times it's going to be harmful to the person himself in this regard. And just consider it, your people, as this is a new experience for you to try to practice it. Okay, we'll stop here as Sayyidi Nasser said. If there's any question, we'll answer it. Sorry, I keep talking, keep speaking. Go for prayer and pray Sunnat al-Asr, please.